Hey, what's up guys? So today I'm going to be showing you some of my favorite stride piano exercises, some of which you'll find in the new stride piano exercises mini course that I just released. So these exercises are all about not only building up actual stride piano vocabulary, giving you some great different licks to work with, and giving you octave chord practice. I'll explain what that means later, but they're also about actually building up physical strength and technique, and also giving your hands a stretch so you can more easily play tense in your left hand. So without further ado, let's dive into mini course that I some of which you'll find in the new, about not only building up actual stride piano vocabulary, giving you some great different licks to work with, and giving you octave chord practice. I'll explain what that means later, but they're also about actually building up physical strength and technique, and also giving your hands a stretch so you can more easily play tense in your left hand. So without further ado, let's dive right into these exercises. All right, so one of the most important skills when playing stride is, of course, being able to play tense in your left hand. Now, for those of you that can't reach a tenth, don't worry. You don't have to literally play both notes at once all the time, okay? So I'm okay if I'm on white notes. I can play the tenths, no problem. But as soon as we get to a tenth that involves a black note, I just can't reach it. So what you can do in those cases is just roll your tenth, okay? So rolling tenths is perfectly acceptable and still sounds great in my opinion. In fact, even if I could reach tenths every time, I would still do it because I really like how it sounds and how it affects the groove. So this first exercise is all about building up stretch in the left hand and getting more comfortable with tenths. So you may have noticed you don't have to always play a tenth and then jump to a chord. You can actually walk a bass line with tenths. So you can do, and that's what this exercise is about. So the first half of it is about walking the tenths and getting the left hand good. And then what we do is we add in the right hand. Now, another really important part of stride piano is being able to play chords at the octave. So what do I mean by that? Well, essentially we are playing a melody in an octave, but then we're adding notes in the middle that are diatonic to the current chord we're playing. So when we add in the right hand for this exercise, the right hand is going to be helping us add those octaves and, of course, add them on top of our walking tense bass line. All right, so another really important skill when playing stride piano is to be able to play it really, really fast. But unless you are Art Tatum or someone crazy talented, with probably very large hands as well, it's going to be really physically difficult to be doing huge jumps really quickly involving tenths and whatnot. So what we can do if we don't have huge hands and aren't physically able to jump super fast like that is we can take a really simple chord, for example, a chord in just a single octave. Let's take a B flat major 3 and 7. And then we just hop from the root to the rest of the chord. So B flat major 7, B diminished, C minor 7, D flat diminished, and then we can do that really fast. Okay, and then we can also jump tenths, right? So that's a way of having it sound more legit. We're not doing a full tenth to a chord, but we'll do the bottom of the tenth and then a 2-note chord like that. Then we can do F minor 7 like that. And then what we can do is add a lick to the right hand. So in this exercise, we're going to add a really fun lick to the right hand that's actually deceivingly easier than it seems. It's all pretty much in the same octave, and you can roll your hand up and down to do it quickly.
Нужно ли быть олигархом, чтобы инвестировать? Уделите 1,5 минуты этому видео, чтобы открыть для себя новые возможности. Привет, меня зовут Евгений Ходченков. Треть жизни я занимаюсь инвестированием. И, возможно, вы сразу представили человека на яхте, свободного от работы и любых забот.
Really quick, guys, if you do want to dive deeper into this stuff and really master stride piano, I actually have 20 of these exercises available with a video mini course explaining each one. So if you guys want to check that out, jazzpianoconcepts.com/store. All right, now this next one, I'm pretty much in the same octave, and you can roll your hand up and down to do it quickly. Really quick, guys, if you do want to dive deeper into this stuff and really master stride piano, I actually have 20 with a video mini course explaining each one. So if you guys want to check that out, jazzpianoconcepts.com/store. All right, now this next one I'm going to show you guys is a lot of fun. So this one is essentially just a tricky lick that we can play, and once you get the technique, you can use it for other melodies and doing other fun things. So for this exercise, we are going to learn it over an E flat 13 chord. So 1, flat 7, 3, 13, and then 1 again on top. And what we're going to do is we're going to arpeggiate descending an octave. So we'll just go E flat, then down to E flat, and then we'll put our left hand an octave below and go ascending. So the sound we get is, then we speed up, and then we're going to move that to other notes. Right? And that's the sound that we can get. Now, once you get the hang of this, you can do this with other melodies and other arpeggios as well. And 1 again on top. And what we're going to do is we're going to arpeggiate descending an octave, E flat, then down to E flat, and then we'll put our left hand an octave below and go ascending. So the sound we get is, then we speed up, and then we're going to move that to other notes. Right? And that's the sound that we can get. Now, once you get the hang of this, you can do this with other melodies and other arpeggios as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and be sure to mess around with it and see what you can do in the context of playing stride and improvising. All right, so next up, we've got another one of my favorites. This one is about another right hand lick, and it is super stylized. It's something you might even be familiar with in your ear. So let's take a quick look at it. Now, of course, I wasn't playing exactly what's written on the page, but what I'm doing is showing you how you can actually take this exercise once you learn it and out of context, do your own thing with it. So it's all based on this little descending riff. And we move it up a fifth, and then up a fourth, right? And so on. We can go down, and we can also repeat it. And it's a really fun way to get this kind of really stylized, fun sounding stride lick going. All right, guys, so the last exercise I'm going to show you today is a really fun lick that you can do with your right hand. And it's tricky because it's all about being able to move your right hand in octaves. So check this out. So the way this works is whenever we do an octave and then need to move up to a black note, we use the fourth finger to grab it. And then we can easily move back down to the fifth finger for the next white note. See? Now here, when we need to jump up to the C, what we do is, and then put the fourth finger there. We'll see it here again, fourth finger. Okay, and then on the way down, you just do the opposite. Fourth to fifth, jumping down to the fourth. So again, be sure that once you get the hang of this, you use it in context, mess around with it, see what you can actually do when you're improvising while keeping stride going in your left hand. All right, guys, well, I hope you've enjoyed these stride exercises. These are some of my own personal favorites. And again, if you actually want 15 more where that came from, be sure to go to jazzpianoconcepts.com/store and check out the Stride Piano mini course. Also, if you found these exercises helpful, I would really appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber, please click subscribe and click the bell to turn on notifications so you don't miss any more videos just like this one. All right guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will be back next week with some more content.
Est-ce que tu t'es déjà demandé comment commencer à investir? Par où vraiment commencer? Quelles sont les petites étapes et les...
Here are 5 warm-up exercises that are pleasant to the ear. Now these are for the piano, but the lines and concepts used can be
Hello, it's International Piano Day, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this piano and what makes it different right now, which is the tuning system. The temperament that is used here, which has been set up by Gavin from Crown Pianos, is not the equal temperament system which is used in most pianos today. Give or take a few tweaks that sort of tuners will use so that each key sounds the same. And this really only truly became the norm in the 20th century, actually. So it's very interesting to have the piano tuned in an 18th century system. This is the system which has been decoded by Brad Lehman, and he being the system that Bach would have used in the well-tempered clavier. And what that means is in the home keys of C major and G major and F major, the white keys, we have very pure triads. And if you compare that vibration there between C and E with an equal tempo piano, you'll find that this is a little bit gentler. But that isn't the case in all the keys. And that explains, I think, why Bach didn't write this sort of prelude in C sharp major, which is wider and slightly more sour than in equal temperament. If you have headphones, that you can really hear that C major is very gentle, but C sharp major is very bright. But instead, when it's in a key like C sharp, we don't get too many of those thirds and tenths. About one particular piece from the book 1 of the well-tempered clavier, which is the E Major Prelude, because E Major is Bach's most out of tune third, the E to the G sharp. which if you're not used to thirds that wide, sounds somewhat harsh and unpleasant. And in fact, Bach does write something which is quite harmonic, and we can hear that in this particular bar.
Applied to other instruments as well. We're starting in C major with the 2-5.
Hey, and welcome back to another lesson. In this lesson we're going to talk about Triton Substitutions, what they are, how to construct them, and where to make use of them. Let me start with a simple definition of what a triton is. So a triton is a musical interval in which there are two notes, and they're a triton apart, which is basically just 6 semitones. So pick any note, let's say B flat, and count up 6 semitones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you have yourself a tritone. Now, it turns out that if you count down 6 semitones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you get to the same note. So you can either count up or down. So now that you know what a tritone is, let's see where it appears. And the most prominent place it appears in is in dominant 7th chords. Let me construct a C major dominant or C dominant C dominant 7th chord. So to make this, I basically construct the C major scale, and I pick the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and flat and 7th degrees of the scale. Now, the most important notes in this C dominant chord are the 3rd and the 7th, the E and the B flat. And I can kind of retain the character or the color of this chord if I just play these two notes. So I'm going to omit the 1st and 5th. And what I have here is a tritone. So just let's verify this. Let's start with E and count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I indeed get an E and a B flat, the 3rd and 7th degrees, flat and 7th degrees of the C major scale. Now, I can actually use this voicing to play dominant 7th chords. It's kind of sparse, but it still works. It still retains the main character of the chord. For example, I can play a blues using just these tritone intervals. So I was changing chords in the left hand as I was changing tritone intervals. This interval corresponded to C dominant 7. This one corresponded to F dominant 7. To see this, construct the F dominant 7th chord, omit the 1st and 5th, here's your tritone, and now just invert it. Take this E flat down here. And here's your voicing, tritone voicing for F dominant 7. And this here, this F and B, is a G dominant 7. Now, let me show you something interesting. Let's take two dominant 7th chords which are a tritone apart. So, let's take G dominant 7th, which is made out of G, B, D, and F. And let's take a dominant 7th, which is a tritone apart. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's a D flat. So we're going to construct a D flat dominant 7th. So I have these two chords, the G dominant 7th and the D flat dominant 7th, which are tritone apart. Now, I've told you that.
You know what these film scores have in common? I recorded and mixed them. I'm Dennis Sands, and I worked on over 350 films.
The main character of the chord is sort of captured by these 3rd and 7th degrees. So let's see what they are in these two chords. In G, the 3rd is this B, and the 7th, and we get this, G, D flat. They're actually the same. See, here I'm playing a B and an F, and here I'm playing an F and a B. I can invert this one. I can just take this B down an octave, and you'll immediately see that they're the same thing. And this is where the tritone substitution comes from. It's the fact that both G dominant 7th and D flat dominant 7th share the two most important chords that let you substitute one for the other. And let me give you a straightforward example. Let's say I'm playing a D minor, going to a G, going to a C. This is a basic 2-5-1 progression. So I'm going to play this progression as follows. I'm going to play a D minor 7 to a G dominant 7 to a C major 7. Now, instead of playing this G major C dominant 7 and D, instead of playing this G dominant 7 in the middle, I can substitute it, I can switch it out for the tritone, or for the dominant 7, which is a tritone away, which is the D flat dominant 7. So instead of playing this, I can play something like, say, this. This is just a different voicing for it. I'm playing a D flat in the left hand, and then a B, F, A flat, and B again in the right hand. So instead of sounding like this, it will sound like this. So the substitution adds tension to the progression. So let me give you two musical examples in context that will maybe help you see where tritone substitutions come into play. Let's start with a progression with a melody, and we'll use some substitutions in that progression. So I'm going to play it in the key of C, as usual, to make it a bit easier, and those of you who are not fluent in other keys, And it's going to be an E minor, going to an A dominant 7th, going to a D minor, going to a G dominant 7th, going to a C. And the melody is going to be something simple. It's going to be something like this. So put together, the original chord progression would be maybe this. I'm going to use chord substitutions in 2 points. First, I'm going to change the A, or we're going to substitute a dominant 7. So instead of playing an A dominant 7, I'm going to play an E flat dominant 7. Again, I'm going to do a Triton substitution. I'm going to play a D flat dominant 7th. Let's hear how this sounds. I'm going to whistle the melody because I want to play the kind of the chords with my hands. So I can actually play the melody. So personally, I thought the first substitution was a lot better than the second one, so this worked. This chord here, this E flat dominant 7th, this one didn't really work as well because there's a clash, a bit too much of a clash in my opinion, between the melody and the chord. That might actually work. You might want to change the melody a bit, just a little bit, to make it work. So instead of playing this D here, maybe let's play a G, so something like and that fits a lot better. Again, there's a question of whether you're capable of changing the melody. Maybe there's a singer who has practiced a particular melody and you can't really change it on the fly. But maybe it's you just soloing, and then you can make these changes. So it's up to you to sort of figure out where clashes might occur and then maybe not do a Triton substitution there.
Regular ear training makes musicians better. But for most, sticking to a training habit that leads to significant achievements is impossible. Do you also struggle to maintain a
Let me give you one more example.
Естественно, что с его фантастическим слухом это невозможно представить себе, чтобы он что-то забывал. Но тем не менее, когда не хватает внимания иногда, или когда человек устал, это происходит. Вообще это происходит достаточно часто. Вы должны к этому готовы быть. С этим надо работать. Так же, как с любым вот вызовом. У вас есть какая-то задача, вот забыл. Значит, пока вы не покажете, что вы забыли, никто не будет знать. Не люди, кроме экзамена, конечно, которые приходят послушать ваш концерт, не приходят следить за нотами. Они приходят получить удовольствие. Если вы играете, например, эмоционально очень яркую музыку, то вы можете продолжать играть эмоционально яркую музыку. Пусть она будет не там, пусть это будет немножечко другая гармония, вы потом найдете. Но вы должны продолжать врать. Врать — это не такое плохое слово на сцене. На сцене приходится изображать то, что ты не чувствуешь, то есть врать. А это вообще-то, мы считаем, что это плохо, это действительно плохо, но сцена это разрешает. Я, как педагог, естественно, за этим буду следить, за тем, чтобы вы играли правильные ноты. Но, как, например, член жюри, я вижу иногда, вот человек забыл. Как он из этого выпутывается? Показал, руки вот так сделал вот такой вот, я помню, как одна пианистка вот так показала, и только поэтому я понял, что она забыла. Только по этому звуку. Если бы она не показала, я бы точно... Я не знаю эту музыку. Мало того, я вам еще расскажу историю. Я играл, это был 87 год. Я играл концерт Равеля на финале конкурса в Сантандере. Есть видеозапись прекрасная. И во второй части такая замечательная музыка. Я забыл текст. То есть я сижу, играю, оркестр, там очень сложная оркестровая партия, она написана очень точно, но при этом почти без тути, невозможно там опереться. И без страстей, надо играть очень точно и по-французски так рационально. И они играют фурбата, а я-то, в общем, я чувствую, кажется, я сейчас забуду. И я забываю, естественно. И вот я сижу, играю от ужаса, я играю что-то такое. И где-то я вот спустя такта 4 вот такого ужаса, ощущение, что ты падаешь в самолете, наверное. О, катастрофа. Я нашел какой-то текст, я вырулил. Выяснилось, что из жюри никто не заметил, даже те, кто играл этот концерт. Там была Лисо Константиновна, там были еще какие-то люди вполне знающие. И никто этого не заметил. Я испытал такие чувства, а никто этого не заметил, даже обидно. Понятно? Поэтому вы постарайтесь вот.
Личку мне кто-то пишет, личку. Пишите меня, есть лички. Что никто не пишет, что дальше?
Вот так научиться приврать иногда. Ну нет.
Нет, вот нет, да. Наоборот. Должно быть еще это о чем это говорит. Что это такое? Что такое? Откуда это вообще появилось? Нет, наоборот. Не, я просто приглашаю, я добавляю, не знаю, как она стоит. такую поддержку. Вроде было сам. Вот это.